Have you ever wondered how your mind works and how that relates to your consciousness and spirit that is beyond us? I want to spend a few minutes and talk to you about that today. I want to explore the conscious and unconscious mind, how they influence your life, and how different modalities like crystal dreaming, of which I'm an advanced practitioner and teacher, as well as other modalities such as hypnotherapy, support your healing and transformation. So join me for the next few moments as I share some thoughts. Hi, I'm Lori Ingram. I'm a spiritual coach, a spiritual director, and a crystal dreaming teacher. And the past 10 to 15 years of my life have been very focused on self-development. And I wanted to share with you that about a year ago, I realized that I wasn't quite understanding how to work with my mind. Now, I've done all the things, and I had done some mindset work, but there was something that I just hadn't quite connected the dots on, which has led me to now be pursuing additional certifications on the mind. And I just wanted to share a little bit about how I'm putting all these pieces together today on my spiritual journey. So let's talk about your conscious mind. So your conscious mind is what you're aware of, right? It's control of what you do, your decisions, your abstract thinking. As we sit here, we are conscious, right? Things like, having a conversation with somebody, planning your day. It's very aware, it's very deliberate, tends to be short term, very rational. But then there's your subconscious mind, which quite honestly is much more powerful than your conscious mind. So this is what you're not necessarily aware of, but it influences your thoughts, your actions, and your feelings while you're conscious, right? Unconsciously, our heart's beating, we're breathing. Do you ever have those days where you drive somewhere, like drive to work, and you don't remember driving, but you got there safely? It's your unconscious mind at work. So our unconscious mind is the storehouse of all of our experiences, everything we like and dislike for our entire lives, our thoughts. And it's very literal. And it has our entire lives stored away. We create our reality from our unconscious mind. So, do you perhaps have a friend or even a sibling that you both grew up in the same families, but perhaps have very different recollections and very different memories, right? I know I've worked with people for a long period of time. We worked at the same place, worked for the same people, worked with the same people, and had totally different experiences based on our beliefs and how we were raised or our previous life experiences. It's really fascinating. And if you think of it this way, if your mind is an iceberg, the conscious mind is just what you see above the water. That's your conscious mind. The subconscious mind is the massive, massive structure below. So your subconscious drives most of your behaviors, most of your habits, most of your emotions. And I could start a long list of things I've become aware of over time that are because of subconscious patterns, primarily from either how I was raised or what I thought people heard, what I heard people say to me, or beliefs I had. And throughout my life, I avoided opportunities. I mean, even up until a few years ago, because of a subconscious belief that I wasn't meant to do it, that I wasn't good enough. So here's an example. When I was young, and even when I was in high school and into college, I loved creating and art, and creativity was a big part of my life. And I wanted to pursue a career that was creative in one way, whether it was as an architect or an art therapist but when I was in school and in college in the late 70s, it wasn't quite popular. There weren't many programs, and my parents were like, but you have to be able to get a job and you have to be able to support yourself and, you know, go into business and computer science, which is what I did. And, 43 years later, I had a long career in computer science, but I always had hobbies and I was always trying to find ways to bring that into my life. But I never thought I was good enough because I didn't think I had been trained and I didn't have experience. And now I'm in my mid-60s and, what makes me think I can do anything different than I had ever done? That was just a story that my subconscious was telling me. It was buried, but it shaped my actions, it shaped my decisions, and all the work I've done from a spiritual perspective has helped me unravel those thoughts. But about a year ago, I realized that there were still some things hanging on, right? And I'm like, I need to do some work. It needs to be a little bit different than what I have been doing. So as much as I feel aligned with my life path, as much as I'm aligned with my higher self, the unconscious mind here, that subconscious thing was still, putting up walls for me. So again, consciousness is our awareness of ourselves and our connection to others, right? That's where all this interconnects. But our subconscious can often continue to still block us. So while I knew who I was beyond this body, and I know I'm connected to something greater, whatever you might call that, and I felt very called to all the modalities I work in, and I love the work I do, I still felt these walls coming up. So that's why I made a decision to do some additional studying last year, and now I'm actually going to be certified this year and bringing it into the other work that I do with clients in addition to crystal dreaming. So looking at things like how do we change our limiting beliefs, right? How do we shift from I'm not good enough to I am worthy, right? Using different techniques with NLP, for example. And then using hypnotherapy as another way to give us more direct access to the subconscious mind and really uncover those emotions, reframe those experiences. And while these were all things that I was very aware of and things that I have worked on with crystal dreaming, there was something about adding this layer last year that totally shifted things for me in quite an interesting way. So we're really not talking about controlling the mind here at all. I know there's a lot of misunderstandings about NLP and hypnotherapy, and that's why I believe in using any of these modalities from a place of very high integrity. It's really about allowing us to align with our higher self at an even deeper level. So crystal dreaming, for those who don't know, uses crystals in very specific layouts to create a safe space for my clients where they can access higher states of consciousness. And it aligns with this other work because we are offering soul level insights and deep healing. In addition to crystal dreaming, allowing us to clear energetic blocks and release past life trauma that's stored in the subconscious, now we can add on to that. I can add on to that additional tools to help clients move through and really change and transform. I'll give you another example. Personally, while I am a crystal dreaming practitioner and a teacher, I also am a recipient of crystal dreaming sessions. And at one time, during one of my sessions, I had the opportunity to revisit a past life that acknowledged to me that I was holding back my intuitive gifts, and because of something that had happened to me in a previous life where I was punished for being intuitive and psychic and all the things. Not something uncommon for those of us who are in these fields, right? Releasing that, my crystal dreaming session was liberating. But there were still some things holding me back from how I thought others would still perceive me here. So the work I've been doing with hypnotherapy and some other subconscious work has been to really anchor in and release that into my everyday through these additional tools. So by pulling together all of these tools together, in addition to those, because, quite honestly, not all of my clients are interested in the crystal work, but they are interested in releasing these limiting beliefs. It gives me the opportunity to blend modalities together and build a very holistic approach for my clients. And in addition to doing the in-person or virtual live work with crystal dreaming, I'm going to be able to give them tools to take with them afterwards, after our work is done. So, this spiritual journey is a journey. It's always unfolding. And I love learning new things to bring us into more awareness of our bigger truth, but also live more conscious lives. So aligning our mind and our spirit through consciousness is quite a fascinating journey. So anyway, I will be sharing more on this channel as my training unfolds and I bring more into my current work. So I invite you to follow along and subscribe. So thank you. And I would love to know what you've uncovered in your own journey with respect to your perhaps limiting beliefs and how you work through those. So until next time, take care.